Welcome to Time Capsule, where we explore the meaning of life in the 21st century through the eyes of people just like you and me. I'm Joerenz,
And I'm Joenrhuz.
and today we have Michael Fels, and he works in the TV and film industry. So we're so glad to have you here, Michael.
Welcome.
Thank Yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do in the TV and film industry?
Well, I have 11 years in the movie and TV industry and a BFA in film and video. So I started out working mostly in lighting department, and I worked with Academy Award winners and Emmy winners, and worked for HBO's Crashing. I lit Nicki Minaj and other celebrities and musicians. And shorts I worked on went to Cannes and went to Sundance. So it's a very interesting life, but it's a lot of work in between.
That's incredible. So it's like clearly this is things that you're very passionate about, things that you love. What inspired you to want to do this? Was this something that you knew you were going to do growing up or as a kid?
Well, I grew up watching black and white films and all the classics, and my parents made me see all the Academy Award nominated films. We would go to movies all the time. When I went out for the weekends, usually was like with friends to watch a movie. So movies and TV were always a really big part of my upbringing.
If you were pursuing a different path, what would you be doing and why would you be doing it? I'm assuming it would be something still in the creative aspects, right?
Actually, it was something I wanted to be a therapist. I thought about this in high school, and I had to make my choice because psychology, I think, it's good to understand the human mind. It's good to be able to work on yourself and to help others. But I just know that while doing that, you're dedicating yourself to other people, and it isn't necessarily a creative position. And I would probably not give my all to the position because I would be in the back of my mind wanting to work on a script or something like that. And I didn't think that would be fair to whatever patients I would get. So I was like, you can't really double major, it wouldn't really work, kind of thing. So I was like, let me dedicate myself fully to my craft that I want to do. I know that there's the starving artist. It's going to be a hard life, but it's a vocation. It's, to me, filmmaking. It's a calling. It really, you have to want to do it, and you have to give your all to it. Otherwise, you will fail. And it is a hard road, even if you give your all to it as well. So I'm happy that I'm still in the industry, and despite the pandemic. So
We're happy you're still in the industry too. I definitely feel like those are values that many people can apply to, whatever things that they want to pursue also, It shouldn't be about what the prestige will be or what the money will bring you, but it should just, like you said, it's a vocation, it's a calling. And it's great that you found yours. What advice would you have for people who are, not specifically in your industry, but are soul searching and are looking for possible career paths for themselves also?
what I would say is we have such a limited time on this planet that you want to do something you love no matter what. You may not know what you love right away, but you could tell generally what you don't like. For example, I worked in an office when I was like in high school briefly, and I was immediately like, this isn't fun. But in a weird way, like my father was an accountant, and I was like, I never want to do anything like that. This is terrible. And then he calls me up and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm making a budget for a film. And he's just like, you're doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I'm like, but it's different because it's for, so there are aspects to every job that are still, part of that, just normal business. So you can't escape those. You can't escape math, kind of thing. But it is, if you're a people person, you're an extrovert, find something that's going to meet that need. If you're an introvert and you don't want to be social, figure out what that is that's going to make you happy. Or do you need to get out of your bubble, out of your shell, and kind of get out in the world, kind of thing, and overcome and self-improve. So that type of thing. And it's just, try different things, but also whatever you choose, you have to dedicate yourself fully. Otherwise, you will never know if you really could have made it.
Okay, so now we come to the part of the show that we like to call past, present, future. So we're going to explore three different timelines. So let's start with the present. If you were looking at yourself sort of from an outside perspective, how do you see yourself now in this current day?
I feel like I was able to realize my own resilience in this pandemic. I did a lot of self improvement along the way, and I feel stronger than ever, if you will. I became fit as well. I lost some weight. It's something where I looked a lot more into philosophy and psychology, love language, attachment theory, just all different things to find better ways to communicate with people as well, and to did a lot of introspection as well. So I feel like a complete person. I just turned 34. I feel like a very complete person, and I know what I want, and I know how to have a work and life balance.
Um, and so now that we've gone to we've talked about the present, we've talked about the past. How do you think things? How do you see? What do you think things will be for you in 5 years?
I don't really have a set that it has to be a certain way. Once you start thinking like that, then you start to feel bad when you don't get those things, or if it's not perfect. I was a perfectionist, and now what I learned is if you are focusing on the one thing you did wrong, the one thing you didn't have, you're not focusing on the 99 things you did right.
How do you like to live your life each day?
I'm an existentialist, so I believe that nothing has universal meaning. Nothing has inherent intrinsic meaning. It's up to the individual to decide what meaning to bring to that item or to that action.
Taking accountability for yourself, having self-responsibility instead of, victimizing yourself and blaming everyone else around you. You're right, in those aspects.
So, going back to where you said like some there are times where people maybe focus on the negative things and forget all about the great things around them. What would you say you are grateful for in your life?
I would say I'm grateful for obviously my family who is supportive, my like lifelong friends that maybe we don't talk all the time, but a month later I can pick up the phone and we're just right back at it, kind of thing. The peers that I have that are all really coming together to make sure we make a movie, and they're putting the movie first, and we're all working these late hours, and we're really putting our all into this movie to make sure it works. I think that if you don't have that type of mentality, it kind of falls apart. My girlfriend who makes me happy and is there to support me and listen to me when I have to talk about all these things. And all the clients that I've had that were repeat clients that have become very close friends. And, it's nice to know that I'm going to work with them once a year kind of thing. And to be creating something with somebody again and again and again is a grateful experience, because you get to work seamlessly with each other. And I would say also all the learning, being able to learn from all the negative experiences of my life. I'm grateful that I'm able to do that now in a positive way, and not carry that as a negative energy. Just try and learn from it and move on. So I guess my new mindset would be what I'm thankful for.
So I think that was a great transition to our next question, which is something that really relates to the title of what we're doing with Time Capsule. So I need to ask you, if you were to leave something in a time capsule for people to dig up 100 years later, what would you put in there and why?
Right now, I believe I would put a face mask and that said, you have to learn from our mistakes. If they dig it up, whatever, it's 100 years from now. What happens is every 100 years, there's some sort of pandemic, there's some sort of plague. And what we've convinced ourselves is that because we've been to the moon and we have the internet and, we have iPhones, that somehow we conquered the world. It's like, no, we're still going to have new diseases in the future. So I think if we have this sense of hubris in the future, and no systems in place, and people are still of mentalities that they are right now, of like, do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? you know, all these other conflicts that arise, I think you can get into a bad situation again. And I think you have to learn from the mistakes from the past. And obviously the world was not prepared for this at all. And I think the reason why I'm going specifically for that is this affected the whole world. So rather than me saying, let me put my movie in there, which maybe, you know, only a small portion of the population could even understand because of the language barriers, I think it makes more sense to teach a lesson, if you will, kind of thing. That's something that's universal to our time period, if that makes sense.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I like that.
100%.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to tell our viewers, maybe to talk about a new upcoming project you might have?
Well, I mean, it's something where I'm under contract, so I can't talk about it yet. But it's something where I am obviously, I'm on Instagram, Michael Fels Filmmaker. .com is my website. My Instagram is Michael Fels Filmmaker. So you can reach out to me and I can give you advice if you want, if you're thinking about the film industry or anything like that, or you want to network, or if you enjoyed this interview and just want to say hi, kind of thing. So I'm a very friendly person and more than willing to help other people. And if you don't have to go through the struggles that I did and I can just give you the advice, be happy to do that for you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on our show, Michael, and thank you to all our viewers for tuning in. Tune in again next week to meet another amazing addition to our time capsule. All right, see you.
Thanks so much.